Simon.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. This has been in the making for like how long? Like 7 months? No, I don't know.
Oh God.
I shouldn't say that.
About probably. Yeah. No, about that. Yeah.
Feels like that. And I just
obviously thank you for having me.
Thank you. And down in Australia, like the time zone is a joke. I think if I had to buy shares in anything, it would be that conversion clock, because the amount of times that I have to use it to do the time calculation is a joke. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. So Simon, do you want to tell everyone what you do, your handle, and what you're about?
Yeah, absolutely. So my handle, I'll go back to front. My handle is Bag to Bowl on Instagram. And now I also have another one, Pasto Amano. My main focus has for a long time been cooking from scratch at home, massive supporter of independent businesses, local provision shops, independent butchers, fishmongers, everything like that. Absolutely love it. Over the last year, obviously, a lot of us have changed, I guess, our habits. And I think for me, kind of one of the key takeaways has just been really, without sounding a bit corny, how much I love independent shopping, connecting with people that own the shop, the people that work there, really understanding where your produce comes from, knowing the provenance of it, and also just tasting the difference, to be honest. You don't get the same that comes out of a plastic pack that's been sat on a shelf. So that for me is a kind of snippet of what I'm about. Obsessed with pasta, as you well know. Have a soft spot for deep frying anything that I can deep fry. So yeah, love that. I'm just enjoying good food, really. As I say, just cooking from scratch. I'm not a fan at all of microwave meals or things like that. I know they serve a purpose, but for me it just doesn't feature. So yeah,
I'm heavy breathing as you say that. I feel like I just can't. When I see, part of me actually wants to break out in hives when I go down that aisle of the pre-made sauces, just because you look at it and you're like, it's a basic sauce. Like it can't, and I understand the importance for some people in terms of like, there might be people with, like disabilities, for example, that rely heavily on that stuff. But I think that when I came across your page, and this is what I love about Instagram, it's really that connection. And I am a little bit intuitive, but I really I felt the genuine authenticity of your page. And I could see that because we probably have similar values in that sense of the cooking from scratch, supporting local good produce. And I love the way that you support others by sharing everything, sharing your creations, and just your kind and generous time with interaction. And that's another thing that I really want to have people like you on the podcast, because we are genuine people who are authentic and really want to help others. And you can really feel that when you come to our pages and we respond and we interact and we really want to help. And yes, we are building a business, but it's about humanizing things and building that community and that connection. And that is always felt, I feel, when I come to your page, and I hope it's vice versa, that by supporting others and really just embracing everyone along the journey. And I think that's just like the key to reciprocity in life. So I really love that about you, and I love your fried chicken.
Thank you.
Clearly, like I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell me how.
No, I think you just.
Oh no, you go. You go.
I was just going to say, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Like bringing that human element to me, you just hit the nail on the head. As I was like, yes, absolutely. I think there's so many pages out there that are, I don't know, people have created because I think they feel they want to go on that journey of, I'm going to get something for free, or they have no interaction. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I love the interaction. I love the human element. So yeah, for me, that is one of the kind of key things I thrive off with being part of the Instagram community.
And I think for me, when I look at businesses, it's not about, obviously you have to make money, and I get that, but people want that trust. People want to feel like, known, heard. They want you to sort of meet them where they're at. And some people,
Mhm.
I know that a lot of my audience, they love cooking. They love cooking from scratch. They really appreciate it, but they're just really time poor. And it's really
Yeah.
that forward thinking. And sometimes, when we are jumping on and, you're cooking pasta from scratch, or I'm making gnocchi or whatever it may be, it can sometimes feel a little bit inspirational or intimidating to some people, because they're like, well, fuck, I'm in the thick of it and I can't even get, a simple spag on the table, let alone cook fucking pasta from scratch. So I think that interaction definitely humanizes everything. And I know that I reached out to you initially, and this is what I do. Sometimes, like, when I feel something, I reach out to someone and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of stuck here. Like, can you, what do I do? And you did help me out with a pasta recipe. And for me, that is tenfold in a small business, and it just makes me love a page so much more. So tell me first, how was your first ever pasta cooking from scratch? Like, tell me how bad it was, or did you nail it?
God. Oh my God. Well, I think at the time I thought, wow, I've nailed it. And it's funny because I was looking back just recently, probably a month or so ago, at my journey, if you like. And I think my first pasta was kind of tail end of 2018. I'd watched Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat on Netflix. I mean, Nosferatu show.
I love that show. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, before the show was over, I was ordering the book and I was like, I need to make pasta, because it was the episode where she did the ragu. And since then, I've taken that recipe as my foundation, I think, for adventures into ragu land. But yeah, when I look back, I'd used, I think, a Naffold rolling pin that we got at the time that had like loose handles. It was supposed to be linguine, but it was probably about half a centimetre thick. So totally. it was pretty atrocious.
Lasagna sheets. Hey, listen, it's better than mine. Mine was disaster. It had holes all fucking in it. So listen, you're punching. Like, you did a lot better than me. Trust me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
And then since then, did you just practice?
Yeah, so since then, yeah, absolutely. I mean, without sounding cliched, practice, I won't say makes perfect. Practice helps you get better. But there's still times I have days where I'm just like, what on earth is going on here? Like, the dough isn't responding, or, I thought, oh, I'll be clever and kind of mix up my flours a bit. And, I get really stressed. I'll be honest, what you see on Instagram isn't necessarily the truth all the time. And I've learned over the last year more so is I'm starting to feel less pressure to share what needs to look like a perfect image almost, and tell a bit more about the story behind it. It's taken a while, but I tend to share more kind of the fuck ups on my story rather than on my grid. I'm still yet to kind of I'm still yet to be brave enough to be like, this is a mess.
I think so. Stories is, for me, it's like that connection, that personality. It's that, the personality branding. It's humanizing. It's showing behind the scenes. And definitely, the grid is all about, it's like a magazine, what people come to, but it definitely goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
I feel like it definitely goes hand in hand. And I love that about you. And that definitely humanizes everything about your business, because can we just touch point on that whole perfect thing? Because a lot of people do compare themselves to other people and pages online and don't, number one. Number two, not everything you see is what it's like and what it's about.
Yeah.
And perfection is like, it's bullshit. There's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And
absolutely.
And as you said, it's about consistency, persistence, and patience. And I think over time, you've shown that in terms of building your skills, showing up, serving, helping other people. And now you have a freaking fucking business over it. Like, do you pinch yourself sometimes?
Yeah,
like, I think you would have noticed that, like, looking back at where you started from that work first. I mean, obviously sounds still freaking delicious, but from that stage to now, like, you have a fucking business, man. Like, do you just pinch yourself sometimes and pat yourself on the back and just think, fucking, that's awesome?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, I think what I've proven to myself, or I continue to do so, is that you can do this. It was a friend of mine said to me, stop wondering, can you do it, and just do it. And it was kind of leaping off that kind of gangplank, if you like, into what if type mindset. So I didn't want to get somewhere down the line and be like, oh, I wish I'd given that a go. It was convincing my husband Andrew to let me spend over, I won't say the price, but a large amount of cash on an extruding machine. And it was funny, he said to me at the weekend, he was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you that you just did that. Because he was at work one day, I was texting him saying, oh, I've ordered it now. And he's like, whatever. But yeah, no, it's great. I love it. I love the fact that, I think it's kind of changing perceptions. I think when I started out, it was fear of kind of not failure, but more of kind of imposter syndrome, that people would be like, what do you know about pasta? And I'm totally transparent that I'm not pretending that, I'm a nonna or, related to a nonna. I'm learning. And the exciting thing for me is being on that journey with people, helping
Absolutely.
them learn you can make pasta, or, you can, experiment and become a business owner, and, just have fun with it. I've without sounding too preachy, I've learned life is too short, I think, to conform and be scared of taking that step, so to speak. So yeah,
I think you're
I
so
do pinch
right.
myself though.
And the thing is, it's like sometimes that imposter syndrome might sound like, oh, when I get to here, or when I do that, it's like, well, when is when? Like, we can't just wait for that perfect moment, because ready's a lie. Like, you're never really going to be ready. And at what point do you measure your success? Like, when do you? And how can you? It's just really about, just embracing where you're at and taking people on that journey. And right. When you are interacting with people and they're asking you for, I think also when things come to us naturally. I recently did an interview and, I got asked, like, do you have any culinary background? I'm like, nope, just born this way.
I love it.
Like, I embrace it. I'm not going to sit here and lie. And yeah, sure. Like, I can totally, go and get experience in that, but at the same time, you have a knack for food when you nail it without measuring shit. It's all about using your senses, isn't it? Eyeballing stuff. And that's the beauty. I really want to do gnocchi classes. I don't know if I've told you that. I love it, but it's also something that's very personal, because as you know, with pasta, I'm sure it's exactly the same. It's very much about eyeballing, because it depends. There's so many variables. Is the ricotta too fresh? It's something that you've just got to develop that knack. And that's something that you can be done with interaction with people and humanizing shit, and not making it out like 100%. I am some fucking born guru. Like, it's not. We still have our days. We still have our moments, but yeah, good on you. And
no, thank you.
Can I just ask, like, what do you prefer, a red sauce or a white sauce base?
Oh gosh. Oh no. I think if I really had to make a decision, I'm gonna go, I don't know, this might be controversial. I'm gonna have to go red sauce. Yeah.
Nothing beats a traditional red sauce. I've been into the blancas. But I know. I've been really into like olive oil bases or cream bases at the moment. I don't know. I think it's getting really cold here, so I feel like we're getting into that like winter kind of dishes. Tell me a little bit about your business now. I want to know. So what's going on with it? Where I wish that you could import to Australia one day. Can you please import? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm going to try.
So you make that all from scratch, like, and by order, or what do you do?
No, so okay, so in a nutshell, my business, Pasta Romano, I've just launched this weekend, the 1st of May. It is small batch, hand cut, bronze die, extruded pasta. So what does that mean? It means these hands make it all. It's extruded through a traditional bronze die. So industrial pasta, when you think large scale, the machines are factory size. They're not, countertop size. They are production lines. And unfortunately, the product that goes into it and the product that comes out of it, yes, you can eat it, but it's a commodity. It's no longer a food. The flour over the years, the grains has been industrialized to produce high yields, edible flour, should I say? I won't say, all right, you can get into the splitting hairs around quality, but ultimately industrialization, commodity does not equal food to me. Anyway, before we go down the rabbit hole of me preaching about that, we need another podcast for that.
Totally.
What I am doing is bringing, pasta, I think, or dried pasta to a new dimension to it, so to speak. For a long time, dried pasta, I think for many people, was something they ate when they were at uni as a student. It's cheap. You can buy a lot of it. It fills you up. It will last in the cupboard until there's a nuclear war. So, many people kind of, I think, see dried pasta as the poor relation at times to fresh egg pasta. And it's not. You'll know, Marilyn, like each dish has the right kind of components that go into it. And yes, fresh egg pasta is, filled pasta, sheet pasta, delicate. Whereas dried pasta has, it's robust. It can be robust, but it can also be delicate at the same time. What do I mean by that? So my extruded pasta is more on the delicate side. So it's kind of almost like a hybrid between the two, if that makes sense. With it being small batch, I'm using organic flours with heritage grains. So you get a much richer flavor profile. One of my friends said to me, it's almost like the sourdough of pasta. So I think what the sourdough movement has done for bread, I'm not saying I'm the originator of it. There's a massive movement in America with these small batch pasta producers, but it's growing. And, I'm excited to bring that to London and start to meet with other people, like-minded people in London in the pasta community. And I think, there is a pivotal point that's going to come for dried pasta, and hopefully I'm part of it.
And I think what you're doing is amazing, and using your social media platform to educate people as well, because not a lot of people understand, all of this. And it's all about, us speaking up and speaking our truth and our beliefs, and just, and people are so open to it. I love it. Like, I think COVID definitely, triggered this, cooking from scratch and educational standpoint, and just bringing back, the importance of food and how it brings people together, and how and it always takes a little bit of forward thinking, doesn't it? And I always say this, even on my page, like, when you're cooking something, triple batch it. You're making a sauce, you're already making a sauce, like double or triple batch it, and then freeze it for those, those hectic days that you just can't keep on top of things. And just be a bit mindful of the produce that you put in there, and just know that local is always, you're supporting small, and then it's supporting more people into the community, and then it's having a ripple effect on the next generations as well. Because if we don't kind of bring awareness to all this, then there won't be money traditions that are passed on to children, or importance or education, because they're not really spoken of in school. I don't know. Like, I think there are kind of educating a little bit and going a little random fucking herb patch in some corner of a courtyard. But, it's nothing like the education that's happening in our homes, and just being a little bit more mindful in it. And I love that about you. And I love that you've built that humanizing connection with, local people. Like, I always say that you support the fishmonger and your butcher and stuff, and now they're also taking on board like what you have to sell. And that's just, see what I mean? It's just all about that community and connection that people, I feel, online are lacking as well. So definitely connect with people online and reach out, and you will know who's authentic and who is true with how we interact with you back. But who are some big supporters that have been to you, or like, obviously you've been inspired by other people on the platform as well. Have you built a really good connection with particular people that speak similar values to you?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, before I go into that, I've got to take more of a page out of your book. I love your forward planning methodology. I try and follow it sporadically, and then I crash and burn. But I've got to say, that's one thing I absolutely love about your page. I love, the forward planning approach. I love the interspersing with kind of the what you need to do around your house this week. I love that. But again, I look at it and then I'm like, right, Marilyn's told me to do that this week and I forget. So I'm getting there, but slow, baby
one
steps,
day,
Marilyn.
maybe if you have kids, if you ever have kids, you will
Yeah.
understand. But at the moment, you know, just you and hubby, I'm telling you, I was like, no, the same thing. I think it's just more, you know, that juggle, especially when you're working at home and you got little rugrats that all seem to be allergic to everything green, you know.
Right. Yeah, of course they are. But to answer your question, so inspiration, I think, and it's funny actually, I just you know, posted something this morning onto my page. So back in 2019 we were planning a trip to America to go and see my husband's family, and instead of flying straight into Minneapolis, we were like, right, we're going to do a road trip this year, starting in New York, you know, making our way up the East Coast and then across to Minneapolis. And one of the people that's always inspired me is Pasta Social Club, Meryl Feinstein. So, amazing.
And amazing.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I daren't talk to her. I was like, I daren't message her. And then I was like, no, come on, you know, slap myself around the face. She's, you know, what you've got to remember is we're all people, we're all humans. And as you've just said, the genuine people will connect and will take time. It's the, you know, I hate to say it, but it's the fake people out there that are just in it for, I think, self gratification and also I won't say reward, but, you know, as I say, getting the free stuff, which I think, unfortunately, there are still pockets of that in Instagram. And again, you know, if that's what people want to use it for, you know, go for it. But that for me is not one of the things. But anyway, I digress. So Meryl used to do supper clubs. Her and her husband lived in New York. She used to do these amazing supper clubs, but it was teaching you as well. So it was teaching and eating experience. And I'd been wanting to go to one for absolutely ages.
Me too. I think I'm definitely going to recreate it with my gnocchi here. Hopefully COVID
I think that would be amazing.
passes. I think you would. I think I can see you definitely doing that in where you are. There's definitely a need for it as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, Meryl's motto has always been, you know, cook pasta, make friends, you know, and just enjoy. And I think she's transformed, I think, one of the models into what we've seen other people successfully do now. But yeah, she's been inspirational, and I'm, you know, pleased to say she's become a friend, albeit a virtual friend. You know, similar to you, you know, I love having a chat with Meryl, you know, and it was kind of cool for me. Maybe 2 months ago, I did a shape. So it was a geometric triangle. So imagine triangoloni, like ravioli, so triangle shaped, but make it into a prism shape. And I'd seen it done at No, it was, oh my God, I perseverated on it for a week. And it culminated in getting graph paper, cutting out graph paper, folding over, going, right, I think this is how you make it. So anyway, so she reached out to me and was like, wow. And it was almost like that moment for me, like this lady who was totally the catalyst of me getting into pasta. We're sharing technique. I sent her a video. I made a video for her, and I was like, that made me feel really good. And I think for me, that is one of the key things as well that Instagram gives me, is it makes me feel good. I've connected with people, I've made friends, I've grown something I was shit at into a passion and a business. Yeah.
Exactly. And it goes to show that, you know, how does one measure their success, right? You know, a lot of people measure it by money, but like as if you wouldn't measure that as a success point. And it goes to show that by you being consistent, persistent, focused, niched, like you just focus on pasta, how amazing is that? And now it is that. And it goes to show that common values and passion is just amazing. I think that the best relationships, discussions, connections always happens around a good plate of food. And that is so nice. And it's so nice to know that, you know, there are good people out there on the platform as well. And a lot of people we put on this pedestal just by their follower base. But I just think now I'm like, just have no expectations as well. Like just reach out to someone if you're stuck or you need help or whatever. And, you know, if they answer back, they do. And if they don't, then, you know, they don't. And that's their problem.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But it is really nice.
They've lost out.
Well, it is. And I think, you know, a lot of the time I think people come into the space and think, oh my God, I'm just another, you know, food photographer. I'm just another pasta maker. I'm sure these thoughts probably ran through your mind as well. Same as me. I'm just another home cook. Well, that's great, but there's no other me and there's no other you. Right. So that is your point of difference. And by you showing up authentically and, you know, just being you and talking you and serving and giving value. And it doesn't have to be always for free or free recipes, but it can just be like a, you know, a friendly reply or just like, oh, you're doing great. Oh, that looks fantastic. That is providing value into someone's life. And it is sometimes a slow race. It is. You know, because sometimes you feel like you're Adele singing hello and no one's fucking hearing you. And it can be a lonely journey too, because you think, oh my God, am I really like helping people? Do people give a fuck about my, you know, pasta? But they do. And it is a little bit slow to get there, but at the same time, when you get there, it's the journey that you're kind of going on and the people that are coming on board with you and the connections that you're forming. And before you know it, you have a pasta fucking company. Like, how amazing.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, I used to question, like, well, I used to look at numbers and think, oh God, they must be amazing because they've got 20,000 followers. But then when you kind of dig into it a bit, and I learned about, you know, the fake followers and the buying followers, and then you kind of look at the post and think, well, hang on, if they've got 20,000 followers, why are they only getting 20 likes and there's no interaction? That is that kind of shell methodology, empty shell methodology. And, you know, that is, as you say, not something a journey we've been on. For me, the slow burn has ultimately, you know, been very rewarding, that I see interaction, I see genuine people, I meet genuine people. And for me, I started out my page really as almost like a release, if you like, from sitting in front of a computer all day, being in the kitchen and kind of sharing what I was doing. For me was kind of a release valve, which I've loved. And I'm not very good consistently at posting a recipe to share, but that for me wasn't really what my journey was about, if you like, with Instagram.
And I agree. And I think how much free recipes are out there. This is the other thing. I think that as business people, you know, we could give you a free recipe every day. And I used to give so many, but I just think it's not even that I don't want to. It's like, okay, what purpose is it serving? Because are you actually going to fucking cook it? Like, how many things do we save? Do we pin on Pinterest? And we don't actually cook. You don't. And you just think, completely. I need to be able to give small wins, small changes. That's why I did my subscription, because I want the small wins and the small changes, because that's how you form new habits. That's how you give people that taste of what you're really all about. And even if it's just making people laugh along the fucking way, like, that is value. So it's not always about that grind and just giving like recipe. There's so many other ways that we give value to people's lives. I can definitely vouch on that, because I wouldn't be here speaking with you if I felt that way.
I saw something funny, I think it was at the weekend actually, where, you know, you get these people that'll message and be like, they won't even say like, oh, hey, Marilyn, I love what you posted. They'll be like, send me recipe. And I love that there's now a changing tide of people replying back like literally fuck off. It's like, no, what, you haven't even got 10 seconds to say, hey, I love what you're making, use my name and say, would you share a recipe with me? It's like, recipe? It's like, no, go away.
It's almost like you're
use Google,
a robot.
find something similar.
And like, I always think, like, when you show up online, would you say that to someone's fucking face? Would you? Like, no. And that's the other thing. And I understand when people are like, oh, they got big followers, they don't reply. But I'm like, I understand. But at the same time, I'm like, you can get help with that. And I'm not saying it's obviously the same, but there is ways that you can get help with that. And I think if someone's walking down the fucking street and you say hello, like, all right, you ignore, but essentially then what would you think of them? So why is anyone going to really give you back the time of the day? Or just a weird day. You get some weird, or like, I get the gym tights thing all the time. Like, do you want to promote my gym tights? I'm like, no, I'm cooking. What the fuck do you want me to promote? Like, your little hoochie tights. I'm not interested. So please, no one send me those messages.
No, it's
yeah, I think it's really, I think there's just been a massive shift, and the whole following thing, I just definitely think like, do not buy down that trap. And especially if someone's starting off, do not even think about it. So is there a go-to recipe for your pasta? Like if I come to you, which I am coming to you, so I'm literally asking you, and I know you give me a recipe.
Excellent.
What is a beginner's pasta recipe? Like, where can we find one? Do you have one, or do you recommend someone's?
I think for me, one of mine is, this is one that I turn to regularly during the week. And there's no hard or fast, you can only do this with it, is something that combines using your oven to its maximum potential, put everything on a tray, let the oven do the work whilst you're having a glass of wine, or if you don't drink, having something that is your tipple, putting on a pan of water and then sitting down enjoying a good dinner that actually is probably ready quicker than if you bought something to put in the oven from ready meal aisle. So anyway, so for me, I think one that we've talked about before is it's a baked sausage and greens pasta. And you might be thinking, what the hell does he mean? Does he mean a pasta bake? No, I don't. So literally good quality butcher's sausages. I'm obsessed with the fennel one.
I love the fennel ones. Do you know how many people lately have been coming to me saying, I hate fennel? And I'm like, how do you fucking hate fennel? No. I think it's a licorice. No. I mean, I don't get it, but I'm like, no, I so much different. So different to just a plain one. I agree.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, you can use any, but for me, I'm obsessed. Yeah. I'm just obsessed with this one. And if they don't have it in, I'll message Ollie, who is the butcher, and be like, when are you making some fennel ones again? Can you put like 20 aside for me, and I'll shove them in my freezer?
20 kilos, not 20 sausages. No, I'm just joking.
Can you imagine? Well, I would quite happily buy 20 kilos of sausage. So some good quality sausages. So I'd say for two of you, this is my, for me and Andrew, we eat big portion. Well, we eat one portion, then we'll get a second one. So we'll have two dinners, which is quite gluttonous. But
I'm still going to double it. I'm still going to double it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I would say 3 or 4 sausages, good quality from your butcher, any type. For me, fennel, decase them, crumble them up onto your baking sheet. Some garlic, which we'll use later. I'd say red onion or white onion, literally peel it, and then rough crescents, if you like, scatter that on. Some nice olive oil. I would say, not to sound pretentious, but spend as much as you can on a nice olive oil that you're going to use on a daily basis. Get your, a extra special one if you like for your salads and other stuff, but for day to day, don't get kind of the special offer $2.99 olive oil. It's not worth it. You might as well just use vegetable oil if that's the case. Olive oil in a hot oven, 10 minutes. Don't touch it. Let the oven do the work. You want to get a nice caramelization. After 10 minutes, toss it. We're going to put some greens in. So I like personally, I like Swiss chard with it. Slice it up, toss it in, garlic, chili flakes, another 5 to 10 minutes. You want to get like nice crispy caramelization. And then literally all you're going to do is put on your pan of water for your pasta, cook it till it's just done. Because again, we're not going to finish cooking in the sauce. Big mixing bowl, take the sheet pan out, scrape it into the bowl. It sounds so rudimentary, but it's so good. Toss your pasta in, salt and pepper in a plate, parmesan. And for me, that is a perfect, simple meal. It's a beginner's, if you like, oh God, actually, I can make something that looks fancy that behind the scenes is so
absolutely
not fancy.
And you can add or take out whatever veg that you like. Like if you want to use up things in your fridge, like I think that they're the really go-to easy, no wastage. That's the other thing. And I mean, for me, forward thinking or planning a little bit of ahead of time reduces that wastage as well. So you're not having, I mean, it breaks my heart to toss things away. And people say to me like, oh, how are you bothered to like plan your meals? I'm like, how are you bothered to go every day to the shops and like buy stuff or, then working with random ingredients that don't work. So then you have to go back to the shop. So it's a little bit of that, but I love that recipe. I'm actually going to make it, and I'll post a picture and tag you in it, and give the recipe to the viewers as well. So what are the plans for the business? Like what are we going to see upcoming? Like what to expect? Tell me.
Yeah. So plans for the business, as I say, we launched on Saturday, and we're launching it at 4 shops this month. And as you said earlier, they're all shops that I've shopped at regularly. I still continue to shop at, although it feels weird now being the customer and the supplier. So yeah, that's kind of processing in my mind, but launching at 4 shops in South London this month, 1 each weekend. Then I'm going to open up to kind of small batch DM orders each week. So it might be a case, that people, live near me and they want to come and pick up from my house. So I'm probably going to do about 20 boxes a week where people could order by Wednesday. They come and pick up on a Saturday morning between 9 and 11. And then you're good to go with, pasta that's literally been made for you that week. It's not been on a shipping container going round around the world. It's not been sat in a warehouse. You're going to get bloody good pasta that's been made that week. So that's the model in June. I'm then going to look at, I've coined the phrase, so I'm going to have my own, that sounds naff, doesn't it? My own hashtag, pasta umano by post.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. So I've been doing some trials of sending out some boxes to people. Touch wood, they're arriving.
Is this
intact,
all in UK? Is
that.
it all just nationwide for the moment? Yeah, I think international might be a little bit.
Yeah. I'd like to try that. So you'll be first on the list. So
definitely. It might come by the time it gets here, it might be fucking moldy, to be honest.
Well, that's a good thing though, Marilyn. So that's a good thing. So the pasta, it's taken me a while to perfect. Well, I say perfect. To hit the nail on the head with it to the point where we can start selling. So because it's air dried, there's no spoilage. It's got a shelf life of good 3 to 6 month period. So it would make it without being moldy, because its core product is great flour and water. It's not an egg-based pasta. I might do some egg-based pasta to order in the future, but at the moment, the core product for pasta umano is really good quality dried extruded pasta, and it's naturally air dried, no machines involved, no hair dryers.
Are you sure? Don't lie. I'm just joking. Are you going to do online cooking classes? Because I would love for you to do that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Are you thinking about it? Have you thought about that for a while or no?
Yeah. So I took part in one the other week, actually, and this is what again was my pinch me moment. Said you could do this, believe in yourself. 100%. But a lady I've become friends with, she started with samosa classes, and we did one about 3 weeks ago now, and she's now been doing them regularly. Great thing with her is she's donating half of the proceeds to
that's really nice.
charities to support the Indian farming community.
Oh, that's really nice to
with
hear.
The struggles they've been facing. Yeah. So
good people.
Could I do one? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, could I do one? Would I do one? I think the answer is yes. I need to work out, though, I think at the moment, the logistics of when I could fit one in. So it's probably a couple of months away once we've kind of got into the rhythm with, producing the pasta. This is the business. It's me. I haven't got a team of people.
I know, right?
My social media.
We're laughing because we're literally in the living room and we have cooking books and cardboard boxes that are holding our phones and laptops while we record this, and it just goes to show that Ready's a lie. Like, just do it, like whatever. And same thing with cooking. If you want to give pasta a crack and you think you're shit, like, this is the thing, like, our first experience was shit. Like, I think my first dish, the eggplants were still crunchy. Like, we're not, we are good at it, but it's because we persisted and we practiced. And that goes, for everyone out there. Just because you make one bad dish doesn't mean they're always going to be bad, or they're always going to be bad. Same thing as, if anyone's in the business world, like, for so long I was like, oh no, I don't want to do. And I'm like, no, who gives a shit? Like, if your internet drops out, you just log back on, or, if the lighting ain't great, you just, we work with it. People are there for you. They're not there for, the bells and whistles. It's not like a, Hollywood Disney or Disney, but like Hollywood production. We're just kind of just
No,
cooking and
exactly.
having a laugh and having that connection. Because sometimes it is nice to seek other people who have mastered a skill for advice and to help you, to guide you in, mastering a particular trait. So pasta is definitely something that I want to master. However, I would love a little bit of assistance. So if you did cooking classes, I am so down for it.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love it with a glass of vino.
I will look into it.
Unless it's
or a bottle.
Probably like freaking 9 a.m. my time, but it's nighttime for you.
Yes. I know, right?
No one needs to know.
Yeah.
No one needs to know. Okay.
Day drinking's fine, Marilyn.
Well, I don't know about school pickup. That might be a little bit awkward, but anyway. So
true,
Simon, tell me where people can find you. What's your handles again? And let us know about where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at Bag to Bowl, which is my main account. And that is literally me sharing what I'm cooking, what inspires me, disasters on my stories, day trips out, seagulls trying to eat chips through our windshield yesterday at the beach. That was hilarious. I'll send you a direct message. I didn't share it because I thought it might be animal cruelty, but that's for another moment. And you can find me on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter, or not an active user of Twitter. So it's Instagram, which is where you can find me.
That's it. And stick to one.
That's it.
Where the people are. I know you don't have to be everywhere. I think it's amazing. So
I can't.
No, you can't. And that's the thing. I think people try to do too much at one time. So if anyone out there is wanting, to start a business, baby steps, and it's better to just, chop wood and carry water, as they say. And if anyone is out there really wanting to reignite that passion for cooking, especially cooking from scratch, reach out to people like us. We are so happy to help you.
Absolutely.
But also just small things, even if it's just, aiming to cook 1 meal per week and double batching that and getting it on the table and freezing it. I know there's people out there that are like anti-freezing, but I kind of think it's still better than getting some shit from somewhere. It's still going to be 10 times better. You know what's in it. So thank you so much. I love chatting with you. Thank you
for having me.
I really, really, really appreciate it. All right. We'll chat soon.